OK, and the question concerns famous Georges. Famous Georges, Richard.
On each pass, we're going to give you 7 descriptions of people who are commonly known by the first name George. Can you give us the most obscure answer, please? It's going to be 14 Georges to find at home. Very best of luck.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. So we are looking for these famous people called George, and our first board of 7 reads like this. Played Danny Ocean in the 2001 Ocean's 11 remake. Composer of Rhapsody in Blue, the Archbishop of Canterbury, 1991 to 2002. 17th century English preacher, founded the Quakers. Stage name of comedian and banjo ukulele player who sang When I'm Cleaning Windows. Hollywood director whose first feature film was entitled THX 1138. And the playwright who wrote Pygmalion. I'll read them one last time. Played Danny Ocean in the 2001 Ocean's 11 remake. Composer of Rhapsody in Blue. Archbishop of Canterbury from 1991 to 2002. 17th century English preacher, founded the Quakers. Stage name of comedian and banjo ukulele player who sang When I'm Cleaning Windows. Hollywood director whose first feature film was entitled THX 1138. And the playwright who wrote Pygmalion. Linda and Andrea, you all drew lots before the show, and today you are going to go first. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. What do you do in this office you share with Andrea?
I'm a civil servant. I work for the Department of Health.
Which bit of the Department of Health?
The section I work for, we buy pharmaceuticals on behalf of the NHS.
So do you decide which drugs are going to be bought by the NHS?
Well, we work in conjunction with pharmacists, yeah.
Right,
They're not very good at being told what to do.
I see. Now, Linda, I'm going to ask you something. Forgive me for this. But during a week, any given week, how often are you not approached and asked if you're Carol Vorderman?
It has been asked occasionally.
It occasionally happens that somebody doesn't ask you if you're Carol Vorderman.
Yeah.
Now then, Linda, famous Georges.
I think I know a few, but I think I'm going to play safe and go for the composer of Rhapsody in Blue, and I'm going to say George Gershwin.
George Gershwin, says Linda. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said George Gershwin. Not bad. Not a bad start. 32 for George Gershwin.
Yeah, born in 1898, George Gershwin. It's very recently that the last person born in the 19th century in Britain died. You can't meet anyone in Britain who lived in the 19th century.
Anymore?
No, she's called Grace Jones.
Was she really?
Yeah, not the singer.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. Now, Matt, welcome to the show. What do you do, Matt?
I'm an administrator for a charity in London.
What are your interests?
Music, really.
OK, do you have pets? Do you have...
I have a dog called Lola. She's a puppy.
What kind of dog?
She's a pug.
I love a pug.
She's my daughter.
Oh. Tell me something unusual about yourself, Matt.
I can bark like a dog, and I'm double-jointed down one side.
Which of those two would you like to see evidence of?
If I'm honest, I'd like to see you bark like a dog. I'm not sure about the double-jointed thing.
Down the right-hand side. We'll go for bark like a dog, Matt.
Yeah.
That is like a dog. That is like a dog.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people often send in pictures to Twitter of their pets watching Pointless. There'll be a whole lot of dogs at home going, finally, something for me.
Now then, Matt, famous Georges.
I actually, embarrassingly, only know 2 on there. Well, I think I know 2. I don't know if to chance it or not, but I'll go with the playwright, and I'll say George Orwell.
George Orwell, says Matt, the author of Pygmalion. Well, let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said George Orwell. No, bad luck, Matt, I'm sorry. Great barking. Less good on the answering, I'm afraid. That scores you the maximum of 100 points, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. It turns out you didn't know 2.
No.
Thanks, Rich. Terence, which one are you going to go for?
Well, being a vicar, there are 2 of them there that I should know the answer to. I think that I will plump for the Archbishop of Canterbury, George Carey.
George Carey, says Terence. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said that. Well, you're already lower than our highest score. Will you go lower than 32? Yes, you will. You are our new low scorer on 10, Terence. Very well done indeed. Good work.
Yes, he was the 103rd Archbishop of Canterbury. Was he a good boss, Terence?
Well, I never saw him much, really. He was...
Well, that's what I call a good boss.
Slightly elevated.
Thanks very much, Richard. Now then, Charlie. Welcome back. Tell us the story of last time.
Well, we got through to the head-to-head. As Richard said, we got Tom Jones. I was really pleased. We knew 4 of the answers, and we plumbed not for the lowest answer.
Now, we know that you are Mr. Theatre up there in Manchester. How long have you been running the theatre?
It's about running the theatre, helping to run the theatre.
Helping to run the theatre with...
Well, I've been a member of the theatre
Yeah.
for about 15 years, but I've only joined the committee this very year, so it's been a baptism of fire.
Very good indeed. Now then, Charlie, you're the last person to have all these Georges. Do you fancy talking us through as many of them as you can?
I think I know most of them. I think the first one's George Clooney. I don't know the preacher. George Foreman. I think it's George Lucas. And the answer I'm going for, the last one, which is the playwright, George Bernard Shaw.
George Bernard Shaw. Says Charlie, let's see if that's right. Let's see how many of our 100 people said George Bernard Shaw. Well, of our correct answers, 32 is the high scorer, 10 the low, 38 for GBS.
It's the only person in history to win a Nobel Prize and an Oscar, George Bernard Shaw. About that. Let's go through the rest of this board. It was George Clooney who played Danny Ocean. Would have scored you 42 points. The 17th century English preacher, this is the best answer on the board. It was George Fox. Very well done if you said that. 5 points for that. The stage name of the comedian, of course, George Formby, on Cleaning Windows. 61. And the Hollywood director was George Lucas. And he would have scored you 23.
Thank you very much indeed. Now then, we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at those scores as they stand. 10, Terence. 10, Terence. That was a cracking answer there. Lovely low score. Well done. That puts you and Mike in a very strong position at this stage. Then we got up to 32, where we find Linda and Andrea. Then up to 38, where we find Charlie and Chris. Then all the way up to 100, Matt and Wayne. So yes, Wayne, we need some low scores from you. Or in fact, just one low score from you. And we have to hope that's enough to see you through.